But I don't know why that in our own democracy, a peaceful protest is a crime. I watched a lot of videos in the social media. In Lagos, when the regular police and mobile police were chasing a protester like the criminals. And I asked myself, even in the time of military, that we are so young by then, sometimes the military gives us leverage to have a peaceful protest. But when they realize that the criminal wants to hijack him, that was the time they will come after him. But now we are claiming that we have democracy. But majority of our leaders, they are dictatorship. They are dictatorship in the way they run our democracy. June 12 ordinarily should be a day of solidarity, of good governance if the government is performing very well. And it's a day, if the government is not performing very well, it's a day of exercising our civil rights to protest peacefully, to even show to the government that this is the wrong thing you are doing. I remember vividly the former president, President Goodluck Jonathan, said when you are in a Aso Villa, you are in an open prison in Aso. Most of the things that happen outside, you won't know, and they may be feeding you a wrong report. The only way leaders can know that things are not in the right tracks, and the people is governed, the citizens of the country, they are not happy with him, is when you allow a peaceful protest. Apart from Nigeria, there was another protest by organization which I happen to be the grand patron, Yoruba One Voice, 174 countries in diaspora. I saw most of the protests even being covered, even being secured by the regular police of that country. A good example is a pocket of protest that happened in the United States of America. You see a police van or police car being their side, even waving to them. Even in Canada, we saw some policemen taking pictures with them when they are protesting to exercise their rights. In United Kingdom, we have massive protests on Saturday by Yoruba One Voice and other few organizations. But the police was there, did not arrest them. Even the Palestinian protest was being held in other side, which negates the policy of UK. But the UK government did not stop them. We're asking ourselves, when will we get there? When are we prepared to get there? I realize that it will be very, very difficult for us to get there in this Nigeria as a country. That was one of the reasons that I made up my mind that I'm done for fighting for Nigeria. We have to start to be agitating for our new nation, which is Yoruba nation. There's a domain they are selling to you people in the Niger letters. Some elites in Yoruba land are selling domain to you, which I want you people to understand, especially our members from the Edo State. They were selling a domain to you that if Nigeria break, minority will suffer. It's a lie. That was domain Obasanjo is trying to sell to you. That was domain some of your leaders in Niger Delta that will be a beneficiary of the wrong system of Nigeria are selling to you. Let us do the analysis. The Benin people alone in Edo State, the Benin people alone in Edo State, their population will be up to 2.5 million people. Not talking of other ethnic nationalities in Edo State. When you bring the population of the Niger Delta together, all the Niger Delta, as a region, let me call it a region within Nigeria, maybe later they form a nation being called a country. The population of the entire Niger Delta will not less than 25 to 30 million people. I'm talking of resources. About 75 to 85% of the crude oil that we are using to sustain this country come from the Niger Delta. Talking of the ports, because you have a lot of waters in Niger Delta that can sustain you as a country. You have the opportunity to have about 3 or 4 seaports that you can export and import to build your economy. And those states alone have nothing less than 7 to 8 different solid minerals. Not talking of Delta states, not talking of other states in the Niger Delta. What is the content of building a nation? I've traveled to about 54 countries. A country having a buoyant economy is not even built on the basis of mineral resources. The first attention, the first priority, a country is being built on the basis of natural resources, which is your brain. Natural resources is the first priority. Organize a very good society. Firstly, build an enable environment by having adequate security for that country without talking of resources. Forget about crude oil, forget about gold, forget about diamonds. Adequate security for your citizens and the migrants in your country. They can move within 24 hours in the country without molestation. Second is an infrastructure. Building a very good infrastructure, a network of roads, different infrastructure that will encourage people to come and do business in your country. The third one is that the infrastructure will generate a very good tax. When you have tax from your people with good infrastructure, they will pay that tax. And by then, you'll be able to encourage investors to come and invest in that country. Electricity, potable water, good roads. The education sectors can be turned to educational tourism, which a lot of countries will come and read in your country in various universities with good resource person. Good health standard, like India. India has one of the best health standards. And India as a country have been turned to destination of health tourism. Even most of the country in Europe, they now move their tourism to sport tourism. We are talking of football, like in Britain now. The amount they are making on sport, especially on football, help a lot in terms of economy. But when you build a very good society first, a very good society with electricity, potable water, good health sector, good educational standard, and you create a welfareist program. Those who do not have help, you give them some money to survive. They will not turn to criminals. By then, you have a standard nation. The second priority of building a very good nation is the issue of mineral resources. Maybe you have a very big waters that you can build a very good port. And if you don't have waters, you toss your gate when you have a very good road. You make money from that sector too. And your rail system too. When you have a very good rail system, you make money in transport, rail transport, road transport, and sea transport. And air, you have your own airline. When you can have all these things, when corruption, massive corruption is not entrenched to your government. When you reduce corruption, you can do all these things within 5 years and have a stabilized country. Most of the country, they say minority will suffer. Who told you minority will suffer? The population of Ijaw people in Niger Delta is more than 10 to 15 million people. Even couple the Shekiri with Irobo, they have a very strong population. By bringing the Edo State, the Benin, and other ethnic nationalities, they have a very strong population. And who people told you that if the Benin people want, they can march with us together to be Odua nation. If they want, it's about interest. If the Benin people want to join us in Odua nation, they are welcome. And if they are not ready, they can still have their nation within the component of the Niger Deltas. If you have your nations in the Niger Deltas, you have your own constitution that the ethnic nationalities within your region, their rights will be respected. Your constitution will govern you, will build unity within yourself on the basis of rule of law. So anybody sending domain to you people, that if Nigeria break, my minority will suffer, is a political statement. It's a political deceit, so that they will cage you. They will take all your resources from now to 20 years that may not be all in Niger Delta again. And all your water will be highly polluted. You can't fish again. That was their target. And by the time they finish all this oil, they will now decide to break out of Nigeria. They will now use all their mineral resources to build a very good nation in the north. We have their agent in the west. We have their agent in the south-south. We have their agent in the southeast. Couple south are in the north centers. We are not saying that Nigeria should break at all costs. And we are not calling for war. Nobody is calling for war. But there is no country that can have stability, unity, when there is an injustice. There is no country that can have stability, that can have progress, when corruption has been entrenched to their system. There is no country that can make progress when we have a lot of political allies in their system. So, my brother, I'm digressing to this issue because a human being without political education, in all his political decisions, he or she will be committing political suicide. So we thank the entire YOB, Yoruba One Voice, for their efforts in 174 countries, having a peaceful protest to exercise their own opinion, to show to the whole world that they are fed up of this country called Nigeria. You can't be killing our people. You can't be destroying our farm. You can't be raping our women. And at the same time encourage us to be a united nation. A country we have where our security is being threatened. A country that the nightlife have been taken away from us. In Lagos here, my brothers and sisters, by 11 o'clock, Lagos have been turned to a ghost state. It's only a few places in Ikoyi that is highly secluded with the elite, with the non-security. You can see them be going up and down in clubs and hotels. But majority of the areas and local government in Lagos, by 11, the entire Lagos state will be dry. This is the